What if one of the most powerful places on Earth had no armies, no megacities, no crowds? What if the future of global oceans, weather systems, and coastal cities was being decided, right now, beneath kilometers of ancient ice? Far above the familiar world, beyond forests and borders, lies a land so vast and silent that it bends the climate of the entire planet. This is Greenland, a frozen land that shapes the world. Greenland is often misunderstood. On most maps, it appears distorted, stretched, exaggerated, almost unreal. But this is not a cartographic illusion. Greenland is the largest island on Earth, covering more than 2.1 million square kilometers. It is larger than France, Germany, Spain, and Italy combined. Yet despite its size, Greenland is not a continent. It rests between two worlds, the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the south, positioned like a frozen keystone between North America and Europe. Nearly 80% of Greenland is covered by ice. Not seasonal ice, not temporary snow, but a colossal ancient ice sheet, in some places more than 3 kilometers thick, formed over hundreds of thousands of years. This ice is so heavy that it presses the Earth's crust downward, bending the land itself. Only a thin ribbon of coastline remains habitable. Here, small settlements cling to rock and sea, separated not by roads, but by fjords, mountains, and ice. There are no highways crossing Greenland, no rail networks, no hidden interior cities. The center of the island is an empty white expanse, a polar desert of ice and wind. And yet this silent place exerts a force felt across the entire planet. Long before maps named it, before Vikings arrived, before Europe even understood the Arctic, Greenland was already known, not as a land to conquer, but as a land to survive. The first humans reached Greenland more than 4,500 years ago, migrating eastward across the Arctic from what is now North America. They did not arrive with armies or architecture. They arrived with knowledge. Knowledge of ice, of animals, of seasons that could kill without warning. These early Arctic peoples, ancestors of today's Inuit, developed one of the most sophisticated survival cultures in human history. They learned to read the ice the way others read soil, to listen to the wind, to track seals beneath frozen oceans. Their tools were simple but refined. Harpoons designed to float if lost, kayaks engineered for icy seas, clothing sewn from animal skins, layered for insulation and movement. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was accidental. Even their spiritual beliefs were shaped by ice. Animals were not resources. They were partners in survival. Hunting required respect, ritual, and restraint. To take too much was to invite disaster. In a land where nature never forgives excess, balance was life itself. For thousands of years, these Arctic cultures endured, adapting, migrating, evolving, while empires rose and fell far to the south, unaware that Greenland even existed. But eventually, the outside world would arrive, and it would arrive not seeking balance, but opportunity. In the late 10th century, a new kind of traveler appeared on Greenland's shores. Not hunters, not nomads, but settlers. Led by Eric the Red, Norse explorers sailed westward from Iceland after exile and conflict. When they reached Greenland's southwestern coast, they found fjords that, during summer, appeared green and fertile. Eric named the land strategically Greenland. A name designed not for truth, but for persuasion. And it worked. Hundreds of Norse settlers followed. They built farms, raised cattle, and established churches. For several centuries, Greenland became the westernmost outpost of medieval Europe. But this life was fragile. The climate slowly cooled. Sea ice increased. trade routes became unreliable. The Norse clung to European farming traditions unsuited for Arctic conditions. Meanwhile, Inuit communities, masters of ice survival, thrived nearby. Then, quietly, the Norse vanished. No clear evidence of war, no mass graves, no dramatic collapse. Only abandoned farms, empty churches, and silence. Did they starve? Did they leave? Did they refuse to adapt? Greenland offers no easy answers, only a warning. In the Arctic, adaptation is everything. This brings us to the threshold of European control, colonization, and global power interest. After the disappearance of the Norse settlements, Greenland faded once again into silence. For nearly 3 centuries, Europe largely forgot the island, until imperial ambition returned to the Arctic. In the early 18th century, Greenland was formally claimed by the Kingdom of Denmark. This was not a conquest of armies, but of administration. Missionaries arrived alongside traders. Churches replaced shamans. Foreign systems replaced indigenous rhythms of life. The goal was control, economic, cultural, and political. The Inuit were no longer independent Arctic specialists. They were subjects. Traditional hunting economies were reshaped to serve European markets. Whale oil, sealskins, and Arctic goods flowed outward, while manufactured dependence flowed inward. Education was introduced, but in foreign language and values. Christianity spread, but often at the cost of indigenous belief systems. Greenland became a colony, not exploited violently, but reshaped quietly. And quiet transformation can be just as powerful. For centuries, Denmark controlled trade, movement, and governance. Greenland was isolated not only by ice, but by policy. But the 20th century would shatter this isolation, because the world was about to go to war. When World War II erupted, Greenland suddenly became impossible to ignore. Denmark was occupied by Nazi Germany. Its colony, Greenland, was cut off overnight. But Greenland's value was no longer symbolic. It was scientific, meteorological, strategic. Weather in the North Atlantic is born in the Arctic. Storms, jet streams, and naval conditions depend on data from Greenland. Control the weather data, and you control the war at sea. The United States recognized this immediately. American forces moved into Greenland to establish weather stations, airfields, and supply routes, not as conquerors, but as protectors. For the first time, Greenland became part of a global military network. Ice-covered runways supported transatlantic flights. Weather reports shaped naval battles thousands of kilometers away. The frozen island was now a quiet weapon. By the end of World War II, one truth was clear. Greenland was no longer remote. It was essential. After the war, the Arctic entered a new era, the Cold War. The world divided into blocks, and Greenland stood directly between them. The United States established Thule Air Base in northern Greenland, a critical node in early warning radar systems designed to detect Soviet missiles crossing the polar route. From space, the shortest path between superpowers was not east or west, it was north. Greenland became a front line without trenches, a battlefield without gunfire. Even after the Cold War ended, Greenland's importance did not fade. It intensified. As Arctic ice began to melt, new shipping routes emerged. Previously unreachable resources became accessible. Today, Greenland sits at the center of interest from the United States, NATO, Russia, China. Each sees the island not as frozen wilderness, but as strategic terrain. Control of Greenland means influence over Arctic shipping lanes, military surveillance, critical minerals, climate intelligence. This is why global powers watch Greenland closely, even as most of the world barely notices it. At the heart of Greenland lies its greatest power and its greatest vulnerability. The Greenland ice sheet. This is not just ice, it is frozen history. Each layer preserves atmospheric data stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. Air bubbles trapped before human civilization existed. But this ice is changing. Greenland is warming at more than twice the global average. As temperatures rise, meltwater forms rivers atop the ice, drilling downward, destabilizing the entire sheet. If the Greenland ice sheet were to melt completely, global sea levels would rise by approximately 7 meters. That is not a distant theory. It is a slow-motion reality unfolding now. Coastal cities would flood. Island nations would disappear. Weather systems would shift unpredictably. Greenland does not just reflect climate change, it amplifies it. What happens here does not stay here. As the ice retreats, something else emerges: opportunity. Beneath Greenland's frozen surface lie vast deposits of rare earth minerals, uranium iron ore, potential oil and gas reserves. These resources are essential for modern technology, from smartphones to renewable energy systems. For Greenland, this represents economic possibility, a chance to reduce dependence, a path toward autonomy. But the cost is enormous. Mining threatens fragile ecosystems. Oil extraction risks irreversible damage. Greenland faces a defining question. Should a land already bearing the weight of climate change also bear the burden of global resource demand? There is no simple answer, only difficult trade-offs. At this point in the documentary, we have reached the modern crossroads of Greenland's history. If this journey through Greenland changed the way you see the frozen edges of our planet, support the work by liking this video. Your thoughts matter here. Share them in the comments. We read and reflect on every perspective. If you value history, geography, and the hidden forces shaping our world, subscribe to Explore the World for more long-form documentaries like this. Because understanding the world is the first step toward protecting it.